Welcome ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to the start of a new Let's Play. Today we will be starting Blood Omen, the first in the Legacy of Kain series, developed by Crystal Dynamics and Silicon Knights. Crystal Dynamics, a fairly good pedigree. They're the same people who did Gex. Legacy of Kain is probably one of their most famous series. And Silicon Knights are quite an infamous company. Apart from trying to sue everyone, they are also the people who made 2 Human. Yeah. The less said about Silicon Knights, the better. But this is a series very close to my heart. It's mostly for the Shakespearean acting. But enough rabble from me. Let's get right into it.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood.
Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses!
For fulfilling the sacred mallet of the Sarafan, you are hereby damned. The pleasures of the flesh are no longer yours. You have but one purpose, damned warrior. You will serve us for eternity.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger. What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I am of noble blood. I stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with the night that no sane man would welcome. And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night.
And we are into the game. So, this fine gentleman here is our protagonist, Kain. He's a long way from home on a long journey, and he's stopped off at this bar for a quick drink. But unfortunately, the barman has turned him away. So it looks like we have to leave.
That's him!
Uh-oh, we're under attack.
Hey, Victus! Hey, Victus! End it! Now!
Fey victors, suffering to the conquered. Ironic that now I was the one suffering. Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, rather the cruel jab of impotent anger. The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
You will have the blood you hunger for.
I awoke to the pain of a new existence, in a dank womb of darkness and decay.
And like that, we are into our main bulk of the game. Welcome to Kane's Crypt. Yep, as you saw in that cutscene, Kane was murdered. And he has been resurrected by the necromancer Mortanius as a vampire. And so, to survive, he now has to drink blood. Like all vampires do. So, before we set off on our journey, as it were, I'd just like to give a bit of background for the voice actors. For example, Kane is voiced by Simon Templeman, who you might recognise from Diablo 3 as the blacksmith, or as Gabriel from Uncharted. He was also Dr. Doom in the animated Fantastic Four, the one from the 90s. And the necromancer Mortanius is voiced by none other than Tony J. And if you've ever watched a Disney film, you'll know Tony J. For example, he was Judge Claude Frollo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Shere Khan in the animated Jungle Book, the original one. Well, enough introductions, let's get moving. Press that switch to get out, and it looks like here we have our first spell.
The Sanctuary spell enables me to travel to my crypt, where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nourishment.
Okay, so we've just picked up the Sanctuary spell, which will transport us back to this room. That's pretty much all it does. And if I press the right shoulder button, I can bring up the spell menu and equip it using the X button. Or the A button in my case, soon as I'm using it.
Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the Heart of Darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body.
So as Kane just explained for us there, the Heart of Darkness will give us a little health back whenever we use it. If I press the right trigger and press X, I can equip it. Some spells require energy, mana, to be cast, and others are a finite item, the Heart of Darkness being one of them. Another thing to note is that the Heart of Darkness also works as your lives. So if Kane dies whilst holding the Heart of Darkness, he will be revived. But if you don't have any, then I'm afraid it's game over.
This ancient vial bears with it a dark gift indeed, for with it my life force is increased.
Okay, that is a health up item. Yep, every time you pick up a vial, it will increase your health bar. Better find as many as we can, because it's pretty small right now. And you'll often see people chained to the walls like that. You can just feed off them straight out. If you try to attack them, they will die.
These ancient symbols of power contain raw magical energy that increases my own capacity to summon energy for the spawning of spells.
So yeah, that glowing symbol I picked up, that is basically, they basically make your mana bar bigger. So we can now cast Sanctuary if we want to, but we're only a couple rooms away, there's no point. Oh, what could this be?
Within the walls of these chambers I could find respite, and if I so chose, resume my journey when my weariness abated.
That's a very poetic way of saying save point. Yeah, these are the game's save points. No need to use one now, we've only just begun. Onward into the next room.
When rainfall comes, vampires are wise to find shelter from its acidic touch.
Something I neglected to mention when we fought our first enemy. After a certain amount of attacks, enemies will start to get dizzy. That is when you can feed off them. Also, as Kane just mentioned, rainfall will deal damage to us. So best to keep out of the rain. Skeletons in this game aren't much to worry about. It's just that if they walk into you, they explode. That's not fair. If a skeleton walks into an enemy, or one of Kane's enemies, it just turns around. That's not fair. Well, either way, we have another health vial and another magic symbol. Yeah, okay, these orbs, they won't add to your mana bar, but they will refill it. So just like feeding off people, picking up these orbs will restore your mana. There's different colours. I think there's green, gold, purple and blue. Yeah, because of the simplistic layout, a lot of the puzzles in this game are just block puzzles. And here's one of them. Seems like I've turned on too many there. Ah, there we go. Be careful not to accidentally walk back into the blocks, because that will re-trigger the trap.
These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
We've picked up yet another attack item. We now have the flay item. When we come across some enemies, I'll demonstrate that for you. I didn't use it against the skeletons because it just makes them explode. Same as if they walked into you. Certain places, like chests and crypts, can be opened, and they sometimes contain useful items, like a Heart of Darkness. didn't seem to want to pick it up. It was a bit close to the spikes for my liking. Anyway, we have more magic. It looks as if there's a doorway here, but I can't seem to get through it. No, I'm not strong enough to move those stones either. Oh well, maybe we'll come back after we've gotten stronger, or found a way through the door. Oh, still doesn't want to move. Okay, that's another save point, don't think that's necessary right now.
The world had changed to my eyes. I had not expected such cruelty from the light, for in the embrace of the sun I could find no comfort, only malice. This would change in time for the worse, along with other things. Hunger and weakness are no bar to vengeance's call. I would find my slayers and send them back whence I came. What trickery is this?
There he is!
I thought we
Kill
killed
him!
you, bastard! If we put you down once, we can do it again.
Hey, Victor!
Their sneering faces were forever etched upon my memory. I had crossed death for this moment. My mind was empty save for one thought. I would kill. There is no greater release than that from vengeance sated. With my assassins dead, my quest was over.
It looks like that's it. Cain has wreaked his revenge against those who'd murdered him that night.
'Tis not over, Cain. These fools were merely the instruments of your murder, not the cause. Look to their masters, look to the pillars, and gain way to the fortress of the mind.
Seems we've got a little message from the necromancer there. So these people did kill us, but they were hired to kill us. So who did the hiring, I wonder?
This was where the bloody deed of my murder took place.
The village of Zeigstirl, the place where Cain died. It's got a very German-sounding name. Might as well take a quick look around while we're here.
Save Victor!
Hey you, remember me? I died in your bar a couple nights ago. Got nothing to say for yourself? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be dead. So since this place is quite close to our crypt, I'm gonna leave a few of these people alive. Well, enemies that are outside respawn. For example, if I kill this guy. That's another thing. If you repeatedly tap the circle button when there's several enemies in dizzy mode, you can feed off several of them at once. Okay, so if I go back outside, that guy I killed should respawn. Yep, there he is, safe as houses. And before we move on, there's something else I want to demonstrate. If you kill someone while they're indoors and then come back again... Ah! Ghosts! Yeah, enemies you kill indoors will respawn as ghosts. And there's something else that I should mention about them. They have blue blood, which restores your mana. Still one more house I can investigate. This place looks fancy. A golden candelabra on the table there. How the hell can peasants afford a house like this? Well, since the outside enemies always respawn, I might as well demonstrate Flay for you. So, when you have a spell equipped and you press the A or X button, whichever you're using, it does exactly what Kane says it does. It strips away all the flesh and skin off an enemy, leaving only a skeleton.
The necromancer had offered me no warning as to what my resurrection would entail, and yet I must confess in my haste I had not sought one. Was his gift a curse? I would seek the pillars for an answer.
It seems Kane is not sure what to do with himself now that he's wreaked his revenge. So, he's decided to go to the pillars. We don't know what the pillars are yet. That does it, you guys. Looks like we've got enemies who throw projectiles now.
Victor!
I apologise, folks. You are going to hear the words Ve Victus quite a lot. It's sort of Kane's catchphrase. I believe it means woe to the conquered, or something to that effect.
As daylight chases darkness, the vampire's power wanes.
That is a thing, as Kane just mentioned. During the day, enemies will take more hits, whereas at night they will take less. So, Kane is weaker during the day.
The pillars of Nosgoth. Even in life, few sights have moved me such as this. I marvel that such beauty should grace our dying world.
And so in the distance there, we can see where we're going now. These are the pillars of Nosgoth. I'll explain what they are a bit later. Oh, what's this? Ah, teleporters. Ah, there's a ghost haunting the pillars.
Nopraptor, your madness has shattered our dreams and blinded you.
Keep your distance, or I'll send you back to hell, spirit!
There is nothing left of me to fear, vampire. I'm only a shadow of my former self, Ariel, the balance of the Circle of Nine. Even so, I can provide the answers you seek.
I seek only a cure.
There is no cure for death, only release. You must destroy the sorcery that is now poisoning Nosgoth. Only then will you realize peace. The 9 of the Protectors of Hope were sworn to use their powers to preserve our world. Now these pillars have been corrupted by a traitor. My murder at the hands of this beast drove my love Napraptor mad. Now he spreads misery and pain among the Circle, crumbling the very foundation of Nosgoth. You must restore balance. You must right the pillars of Nosgoth.
I care not for the fate of this world.
Then for yourself, Cain. Beware the unspoken.
Napraptor, with his blind act of vengeance, threatened to destroy all of Nosgoth. Each Circle member was bonded to the pillar he served. The pillars reflected the mental state of their servants, and as the minds of the Circle degenerated and descended farther into dementia, the pillars crumbled. To restore them, each member of the Circle had to die, and the artifact that served as their link to the pillar had to be returned. Only when all the pillars were restored did Ariel claim my curse would end. And so, my hunt for Napraptor began.
Okay, apologies for that jump cut there, but as Cain explained, the pillars are corrupted because their guardians have gone insane. Yeah, so to restore them, each member has to be killed off, and their token that links them to the pillar has to be brought back. And so we have our mission for the game: hunt down the Circle of Nine and kill them. Okay, so before we move on, let's take a look at the pillars.
The Pillar of the Mind.
That's the Pillar of the Mind, once guarded by the mentalist Napraptor. I believe his powers involve things like telekinesis, telepathy, clairvoyance, things like that. Anything to do with the mind, really.
The Pillar of Dimension.
That's the Pillar of Dimension, guarded by Azimuth the Planer, I believe. Her powers is that she can open portals into other realms, and she usually uses this to make demons her minions and such.
The Pillar of Conflict.
Conflict, guarded by the Paladin Malik. Malik, I believe, is a vampire hunter, or was, and he is the guardian of conflict.
The Pillar of Nature.
That's the Pillar of Nature, guarded by the Druid Bane. Why is it, whenever nature's involved, druids are involved? Not that I'm complaining about it. I'll do that middle one last.
The Pillar of Energy.
Energy, guarded by De Joule, the Energist. Fitting that it's represented by lightning bolts. So yeah, she can control energy, that's basically it.
The Pillar of Time.
Guarded by the time streamer Mobius. He can, like, time travel, see into the future, into the past, all that noise. This is what you'd expect from time travel powers, I suppose.
The Pillar of States.
The Pillar of States, guarded by the alchemist Anacroth. I'm not sure why it's represented by what looks like a wolf and a bat, but also Anacroth's an alchemist, so how does that fit in? I'm not sure.
The Pillar of Death.
The Pillar of Death, guarded by the necromancer Mortanius, the same Mortanius who resurrected us. Yeah, so, despite him having resurrected us, we still need to kill him, unfortunately. Okay, and finally,
The Pillar of Balance.
was guarded by Ariel, the ghost that we meet here. I'm not sure if there is actually a guardian for the Pillar of Balance. Oh no, wait, there is, but I can't reveal who it is. It's a major spoiler. So, they are the Pillars of Nosgoth. A fitting introduction into this game. So, when we come back, folks, we will begin our hunt for our first target, the Mentalist Napraptor. See you then, folks. Bye.